Hey folks, Wayne Jennings here. Just out doing a little kayaking trip by myself, and I've brought along this small single person tent. It's made by Featherstone. It's the Featherstone Obsidian Ultralight one person backpacking tent. It's nice and compact if you are backpacking. Now I'm out in my kayak, but it's so small it easily fits within the hatch on my boat, so I really like that. Now just to be upfront with you, I didn't buy this tent. The folks at Featherstone sent it to me to review, and they're not paying me to do this review, but I am out on this kayaking trip. It's just me, so I don't need a very big tent. So for the next few days, I'm going to be moving around and camping out, and I'm going to check it out and let you know what I think. The Featherstone Ultralight Obsidian one-person tent is a compact, lightweight, three-season backpacking tent. The floor and rainfly are constructed from 20 denier sil nylon. The canopy is made from no-seam mesh. The poles are flexible 7001 aluminum. And this tent comes with 12 compact aluminum stakes, reflective guy lines, and a waterproof footprint. Now when this Featherstone one-person tent is in its stuff sack, as you can see, it's fairly small. It's about 17 inches long, about 4 inches in diameter, and it weighs in at about 3 pounds, 6 ounces. Now it also comes with a footprint, and if you add that in, it boosts the weight up to about 3 pounds, 14 ounces. But you know, if weight is an issue, you could certainly leave this at home. I don't normally use a footprint, but it's certainly a good idea. It just gives you an extra layer of protection under the floor of the tent, or certainly in damp weather, just acts like a moisture barrier. You can also take it along with you, and if you don't decide to use it under the tent, it makes a great little tarp that you could certainly string up between a few trees if you want a little, an area to do meals and stuff if it starts raining. But for this demonstration, I'll use the footprint since it was included with the tent. And as you can see, it just unfolds like so. Now, the tent and the footprint and the poles are all color coordinated. You notice in the corners here, they're all yellow. And then there's this single gray one at the back where the back pole goes. So that just helps when you're setting things up, because the tent also has color coordinated areas. We'll just pull that out here. Comes with this little strap that holds everything together. And of course we have the separate fly here. And here's the tent itself. And the poles and the pegs. Now let me just show you yellow on the footprint, yellow on the tent. There's that single gray one at the other end. There's a single gray one on here that goes at that end too. So we're just going to lay this down on top of the footprint like so. And now we can get the poles out. Now the poles, it's actually all one big pole system. It uses what they call the hub system. There's this hub in the middle. And actually all these poles are attached. They're just held together with these shock cords. So it's just a matter of putting them all together and putting them in the appropriate holes on this hub. And it may take you a couple times to figure it out, but once you figure it out, it's really pretty simple. So there, basically the poles are all assembled. Now we just have to hook them up. See how these ends are kind of this orangey color? Well, they go into the yellow. On the bottom here, there's a little hole. There's a hole in the tent and one in the footprint. So we'll hook that one on, and then we'll come over and do the same on this side. One in the tent and one in the footprint. Now on the back, there's a single one, and we have this gray cord down here, which goes into this, well, silver gray. So this gray one goes in like so, and into the footprint like so. And then we can string it up onto these other poles. On each end there's a little clip one on that side, and there should be one on this side, like so. And then we just go around with all these little snap-on pieces, and that just kind of snaps to the frame, and it just pulls the tent up so it snugs itself up to the frame. Just do that all around. So as you can see, it's starting to take shape now. And these are really easy. You don't really have to force them or stretch them. They go on pretty easily. And then back here, there aren't poles for the corners, but when you pull these out and put the pegs in, it stretches it out. The pegs that comes with it are very tiny. I think they're made out of aluminum. They're very, very light and very small, as you can see, quite tiny. Depending on the ground, you might be able to just push them in, or you may need a hammer or something. The ground's fairly soft here, so I can just push them in. And there's your basic tent, like so. There's a door on this side. We'll put the fly on. They are calling for a bit of rain tonight, so it's a good idea for this extra protection. And again, it's color coordinated. At one end, we'll find we have these yellow clips, and at the other end, we have a gray clip for the center there. And it just snaps in on these corners very easily. And then there's little pieces on each corner here that you can hook on there, so there's no strain on the fabric. The Rainfly makes a nice big vestibule on the side where the door is, so there's lots of room inside here to store things like, you know, your boots or your backpack or your camera gear. There's also Velcro to help keep things closed. And the nice thing is, inside, all the seams here are taped, so that's going to help keep all that rain out. And for a little extra ventilation inside, there is a screened window in the Fly. You can just clip on this little Velcro strip, and that opens it up just so you have a little bit of airflow in there. Now once the Fly's on, of course you want to be able to stretch it out. So put the pegs in, pull the edges all out. That way any rain that does fall down is going to flow away from your tent. Now for a one-person tent, it's actually pretty roomy inside. It's 38 inches wide, 81 inches long, and it has a height of 45 inches. So plenty of room for sitting up in here. There's a little cargo net up here for storing stuff. There's also a little net at the back here. And of course all around we have this nice no-seam mesh, so you get a breeze to flow through and on a hot night, but you keep the bugs out. This tent has what they call a bathtub style floor. If you check out down here, the floor comes up several inches on all sides. Just, you know, if it's raining outside and the water's splashing, there's less chance of it getting in with that kind of floor. I also really like the door in here. It's a huge door. It opens really, really big. So it's really easy to get in and out of this tent. It's 12:30 in the morning and it is pouring out. I also heard some thunder way off in the distance, so it's probably going to get a little heavier. But really glad I put the Rainfly on. So far, everything is nice and dry inside this tent. Well, it's 7 a.m. and it is still raining. And
Got pretty noisy last night with the thunder and the heavy rain, but everything in here is good and dry, and actually I'm pretty pleased with this tent so far. Lots of room for one person tent, as you can see. Lots of room for my sleeping bag, room for my gear, extra gear, so I don't feel that it's very claustrophobic. You know, nice height up here. It's actually very comfortable, and I'm really pleased with the performance of that rain fly, keeping me dry on such a rainy, stormy night.
Well, I've been using this tent on a couple camping trips, and I have to say I got to give it a thumbs up because I'm really impressed. It's for a single person tent, there's lots of room inside. I don't feel claustrophobic. I'm impressed with the build quality. Lots of double stitching all around and reinforced pockets down in the corner. And it's really easy to set up and take down. You know, as far as durability in the long term, well, only time will tell. But so far, very impressed with this Featherstone one-person ultralight tent.